Even though the second week of the offseason has been a quiet one for the Chicago Bears, the Bears have still made some major changes to their roster. We're going to take a look at the starting lineups in both offense and defense. Look at where the holes remain that the Chicago Bears still have left to fill in either free agency or the NFL draft. We're going to talk about that all, plus dive into the mailbag right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host, Harry Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today. And listen, the Chicago Bears have made changes, and we know that there's still holes that's definitely left to be filled on this team. We're going to take a look at those at the starting lineups in both the offense and defensive side and kind of see where those are, where those sit right now. So, the Bears have made a number of signings. They've done pretty damn good in free agency, especially with depth pieces, but also some top end pieces as well that really do help change that offense. And, when you look at it first with the offensive side of the ball, it does all start with quarterback. And right now, we don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be. It's projected to be Caleb Williams. But like I say, I only say projected because Ryan Poles is just Ryan Poles, and you just never know what he's going to do. But more than likely, Caleb Williams is going to be that starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears after the draft. That's going to be clarified, right? And then you have the three-headed monster at the running back position, at least right now, with DeAndre Swift, Roschon Johnson, and Khalil Herbert there. And with the money that they paid DeAndre Swift, with his versatility as well in both the run and the pass game, I'm expecting Swift to be the starting running back there, which means he's going to put Khalil Herbert back to where he was kind of most effective at in being that additional back, right, with that two-headed monster. But now you also have Roschon Johnson in there as well. And I can't wait to see how Shane Waldron takes advantage of having that three-headed monster there at the running back position. Going to be a lot of check down passes to the running backs as well in this, so it's good to have that versatility there. Khalil Herbert showed himself to be better in the pass game than what I expected last year. So their running back position, really exciting there. And then you have the two starting wideouts in Keenan Allen and DJ Moore that are going to be there for the Chicago Bears. Right now, Tyler Scott's listed as the wide receiver 3. We all kind of expect the Bears to go after a rookie wide receiver, even though that's not guaranteed to be the case, especially if you look at Mel Kiper's most recent mock draft. He actually had the Bears going after Jared Verse with that number 9 overall pick, which is a damn solid pick for the Bears as well. So we got that question on who's going to be in that slot for the Chicago Bears. Now, if it is Tyler Scott, listen, Tyler Scott's going to be stepping into a lot of expectations, but at least Shane Waldron there is way more versatile in how he's going to use them, so we kind of know that, right? And then moving in from that wide receiver 3, let's move to the tight end position. Cole Kmet is not going to lose the starting position. We do have Gerald Everett down there with him as well. That two-headed monster at the tight end position is going to be a very strong, versatile one as well. Cole Kmet coming off his best season as a pro after signing that 4-year contract extension with the Chicago Bears. You now add Gerald Everett, who's a damn good catcher too from that tight end position and solid as well in pass pro. It's going to be really, really interesting to see. I think that Cole Kmet, in a lot of ways, is going to be used by Shane Waldron in ways that we haven't even seen yet. And like I said, last year under a Luke Getsy offense, that Cole Kmet still had a record-setting year with 73 catches and 719 yards with 6 touchdowns. I would not be surprised to see that with his skill set to be even higher than that. Now, the thing that may take away some from that is having Gerald Everett, who I do think is going to be used a lot in that passing game as well. But the tight end position is really fun to watch. And then we got to go to our offensive line, right? We got Braxton Jones starting at left tackle as of right now. We brought some depth pieces in for that tackle position. Bates has a potential of playing there as well. But as of right now, Braxton Jones is still going to be that starting left tackle. Now, here's the thing. I, as many other people, would like to see some competition brought in for Braxton Jones. But Braxton Jones, it's not that he still doesn't have the potential. Like I've said before in a live stream, the problem with Braxton more so is that he really hasn't progressed more than what he's been. And he still came in with a lot of talent, right? He still is a very talented tackle, but he just hasn't necessarily taken that next step up from the raw skill he came up with. So, a former 5th-round pick, he's been solid at left tackle for the Chicago Bears. It's just, I want to see him progress. How he handles the bull rush is going to be an important part of that. But we'll see. We'll see. But, tackle is a very deep position in this year's draft. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears do walk away from this draft with a tackle. Let's just see who that's going to be. Then, of course, you have at left guard Tevin Jenkins. Now, Tevin, when he's healthy, is so special. There's no way to deny it. When he when he's played both left guard, right guard, it doesn't matter, right? He's moved all up and down that offensive line for the Chicago Bears. Yes, Ryan Bates is going to be there. He's gonna help, fill in some, as far as depth all up and down that line. But Tevin Jenkins, when it comes to Tevin, the way I look at it, he just needs to stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, it's no question about the skill level he brings to the football field. It's just about staying healthy. Then right now at center, which is the biggest hole right now for the Chicago Bears on that offensive line, you do have Coleman Shelton expected to be the starting center there. Again, it's expected to be some competition between him and Bates at that position because Bates can play center as well. But right now, of course, Coleman Shelton seems to be that starting center, but it's going to be a position battle, and that's not if the Bears bring in any other players there. And then on the right side of the ball, you have Nate Davis, who Nate Davis had an up-and-down season last season for the Chicago Bears. He was a big signing for the Bears last year in the offseason. He was expected to really kind of come in, get that guard position done. When you look at it, $11 million for him. So, you expect more. Now, he had the issues, the family issues to start the season, which kept him out. Then he had some injury issues. So for me, what I come down to, Nate Davis is going to be the starter, and he can be a solid starter, but he needs to stay on the field. The personal matter, I'm not knocking him for that. The injury, you can't really knock a player for injury, but you do need to stay healthy because we're going to need that. Yeah, we have more depth here. This is another spot that Bates can fill in as a depth piece, but you need Nate Davis to stay fully healthy. And then next up, Darnell Wright. We already know Darnell Wright. He lived up to every bit of the hype in his rookie year, progressed every single month going forward. Every single game he progressed as well. He had some rookie moments, which you expect, right? But the fact of the matter is he's developmental, great forward. And he can be a right tackle for the Chicago Bears for a decade plus, right? We know that, barring any injury. So, again, solid there. So when you look at kind of the biggest holes right now left on the offensive side of the ball, we need some more clarity at the center. We would like some more clarity at the center. But I can completely see the Bears going into the season with Shelton and Bates holding down that center position. They're definitely upgrades over what we had last year in Lucas Patrick and Cody Whitehair, so I'm not too worried about that. So, they're upgrade, which is the thing. But that offensive line is still a big concern for people, especially people asking, have we done enough to protect our new rookie quarterback? And that's a fair question. But I think with health overall, especially from Braxton Jones, you get better health from Tevin Jenkins, Nate Davis. I think that this offensive line can build that continuity that they didn't really have a chance to build last year. But our offense is looking like a damn good situation. But we got to find some clarity at that other wide receiver position. If it's going to be Tyler Scott, I'm not going to lie. That's a bit concerning if it is going to be Tyler Scott, just because he hasn't shown a whole hell of a lot, right? But, I mean, they see him in practice every single day. I'm sure they're working with him and seeing his development over the course of the summer. And we'll see how they view Tyler Scott is going to be big. But I hope at least that the Bears do go wide receiver in this draft. This is a nice draft for wide receiver depth. You can even get some quality wide receivers later that, of course, don't have the upside as those top 4 wide receivers in this draft. But let's see what the Chicago Bears do there. Now, with that said, moving on from that, let's look at our projected starting defense. And let's start with the guy who we traded for and signed to in the contract extension, and that's Montez Sweat. And not to say that everything that happens with the defense is all on him, because it's not, but you do need to look at that and make the determination that, like, it helps everything. Having that defensive line be solid helps your linebacking core. It helps your secondary when your defensive line is able to get pressure on the quarterback consistently and bust up the run. So right now at that one defensive end spot, of course, we got Montez Sweat. As far as the other defensive end, right now we don't know. I would have to say probably DeMarcus Walker you're penciling in right now. Now, we know Eric Washington likes to rotate that defensive line a lot. I think between moving from if you can use Walker in the inside and outside, that's really going to benefit what Eric Washington likes to do. You're going to have to find another starting level defensive end, Jadeveon Clowney, some of the other players that are out there that could take 1-year deals. But that other defensive end spot for the Chicago Bears is a big concern right now, because we just don't know who's going to be starting on the opposite side of Montez Sweat, unless it's just going to be Walker. We'll see with that. Then at the defensive tackle position, you got 2 players there that are a mix of youth and veteranship. You got Andrew Billings, who came in, played really good in the middle for the Chicago Bears last year, got a 2-year extension during the season, which says a lot about how this team viewed him. And then you got Javon Dexter, who I think right now is going to be starting. Now, we know that with Matt Eberflus's defense, the 3-tech is a hugely important part of that. And if they are going to be going forth with Javon Dexter, which they let Justin Jones go, who got a pretty sizable deal, but if Javon Dexter is going to get that start, to me, That means that they think very highly of his growth, his development over the offseason, and his ability to play that 3-tech position, which we got to see. So right now, it's looking like Javon Dexter is going to start next to Andrew Billings on that defensive tackle position. Cool. And then we get into one of the position groups that I'm most excited about to see another year of continuity with this group, and that's our linebackers. You got TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, Jack Sanborn, all being that linebacking core. And this, listen, they had their issues with health, especially with Tremaine Edmonds. If they can stay healthy, I'm not really too worried about this linebacking core. I like our linebacker room a lot. I like the different versatility that they bring. You had Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards over 100 tackles last year. That's even with Tremaine Edmonds missing a few games. I like the talent that we have here at the linebacking core, and especially if we shore up that that defensive line even more with another solid tackle, I'm not too worried about it. When you look at Edwards last year, he had 5 tackles for a loss, 7 pass breakups, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, and 13 tackles. Listen, he was a takeaway machine for the Chicago Bears last year. And then when you look at TJ Edwards last year, 155 tackles, 7th most in the entire NFL did TJ Edwards have, 8 tackles for a loss, 7 pass breakups, 1 forced fumble, and he set a career high with 2.5 sacks and 3 interceptions, 8 QB hits, and 2 fumble recoveries last year, all career highs for him. TJ Edwards came to the Chicago Bears and understood what it meant to be a Chicago Bears linebacker, and that's what you like as well. And then we got the next group up, the secondary. This is full of a lot of youth. Jalen Johnson first up in there, that 4-year, $76 million deal he signed with the Chicago Bears. We know we wanted to keep him to add so much to that depth. Top 10. He's one of the top cornerbacks in the league, and I really think this year this cornerback crew can be one of the top cornerback crews in the league. You pair him with Tyreek Stevenson, Kyler Gordon coming off there, and then we got Terrell Smith as well, as the depth piece there. That cornerback duo or trio or quadruplet, right? Whatever we call it, quartet. Is that what it is? Is great, man. I love the way that it all balances out, how we have the mix of skill, right? You got Tyreek Stevenson, who is a ball hawk. Absolutely. You know what he can bring. He had an up and down, but you already know what he can bring for that. And, when you look at his game, for example, against the Falcons, that just shows what Tyreek Stevenson can be. Then you have Jalen Johnson, who we already talked about, and Kyler Gordon grew and thrived so much at that nickel position and being able to bust up the run and get to the quarterback. The way that they've used his speed, moving him to the nickel, is amazing. And our secondary is one of our biggest position groups trending up. Then when you look at the safeties, you got Jaquan Brisker right now, who, got off to a little bit of a slow start last year in 2023, but he is the leader of that defense, or a leader on that defense, and he continues to grow that voice. And I love Jaquan Brisker and what he brings. And then you got Kevin Byard at the other safety position coming in, replacing Eddie Jackson, much cheaper contract. I love the way that he pairs with Jaquan Brisker as well. They're going to complement each other really well. He's going to be here for a year or two while we find our next starting safety to kind of come in and be a little bit more youthful. But I really like Byard and what he's going to bring to the Chicago Bears. And that leaves it, listen, the Bears have a solid. So I say all this to say, when we talk about the Bears having the expectations of making and contending for a playoff spot next year, it's because the team is solid all up and down. Yes, we have some shortcomings, as every team does in the NFL, but I like the direction that we're going as a team. And let's see if that continues. And, Caleb Williams Pro Days today. Matter of fact, by the time you guys are watching or listening to this, it may already be going on. So there you go. We'll see how that's going to play out for the Bears. But also, like I said, we got so many voicemails in the mailbag. We're going to play a couple of voicemails on every episode. We got 2 today. This one's from Tonio.
Hey, it's Bobby C-Dub. Tonio calling in. A little distraught, not gonna lie. Justin was the guy. He was my guy for sure. At the end of the day, like I said, you gotta be real about it. When you Bears fans, it is what it is. Trades happen, it's a business. At least, the one thing about it, Poe did right by Justin, as he has and most of the players, and he's sent out. Now, moving on. I'm still not 100% convinced on Caleb. Not saying that he's not a good player, but like I've told multiple people and actually watched some more film and watched games, Caleb is not 100% complete quarterback, like none of the other quarterbacks are either. But that being said, there are also things that he can work on, just like the other quarterbacks. But my question for today is, what are some actual, what is the evaluation of the top quarterbacks that the Bears should look at? I remember Steve alluded to Jaden Daniels as a possibility. I've watched more of him as well. I'm liking what I'm seeing, but at the end of the day, I think Jaden would be the prospect. I mean, probably put on a little bit more pounds, similar player to Fields, but I don't know if Ryan Poles is looking to do that. My personal opinion was if I'm getting rid of the quarterback that we have, I kind of want to go towards an opposite field of that. I want somebody who's going to distribute the ball to the playmakers. I said Drake May not because of I just want a different quarterback, but it's kind of like why would I get another Ferrari with just a different model when I could get I want to go to Lamborghini to an extent. Not saying that Drake May is a Lamborghini or anything of that, but just as far as comparing, opposite brands. So what are we looking at in the next quarterback, and what are your thoughts on the top prospects, and who do you think we should select? And then on top of that, if Caleb is one, I'm with Steve-O. That mug got 6 games. If he picked one, he got 3 games. That's a bold statement. At the end of the day, hey, I want the Bears to win, and if that leads to a playoff or anything like that, cool. I'm riding with DJ Moore and company. But that new quarterback gonna have to earn the locker room just like Justin did. Shot town up. Bear down.
Listen, Poe's doing right by Justin. And shout out to Bobby, who really pointed that out, like how that is looked at among players in the league. Like if it doesn't work out with the Bears and you do go there, they're going to take care of you. Giving Justin a say in that. I know a lot of Bears fans are upset about the compensation, but like I said, if Caleb Williams is everything he's cracked up to be and the Bears do draft him, it's I don't think people are going to be worried too much about that compensation. So, and to your point, yeah, Caleb absolutely has things to work on. Anybody who's expecting Caleb Williams to come in here and just be exactly who he's going to be forever right away. I get it. People use CJ Stroud came in and did this. Every player is different. You can't compare one player's success to another player's success, because that is when you start not allowing a player to naturally go through what they need to go through to progress. Yes, he's going to come with a lot of expectations. Best believe the expectations for whoever the next quarterback is for the Chicago Bears is going to be exponential. And so let's see how they deal with it. And then as far as other possibilities at quarterback, listen, Jaden's name is gaining a lot of traction. Now, like I said before, I'm always going to leave about 10% for Ryan Poles to do something completely out the box. But outside of that, I think it comes down to those two guys. I'm not worried about Drake May. I get what you're saying in wanting somebody different. And, there was that rumor that Shane Waldron may prefer Drake May. But I think ultimately you got to go with whoever you evaluate at the best talent. You don't want to go with something different just because it's different. You want to go with your evaluation, trust that evaluation, who's going to end up being the best talent out of that group of quarterbacks. And let's see what Ryan Poles does with that. All right, let's get into the next voicemail. This one's from the 704.
Hey, what's up? How you doing, man? One of them days about to hit the gym. But anyway, I say I don't care about the draft pick they got for Justin Fields, man. I respect Ryan Poles on the decision he had to make. And the decision is to live up to his word. By living by his word, what he said he's going to do for Justin Fields, it's showing future free agency. If they come to Chicago, the Bears, Ryan Poles runs, he'll take care of you and do like he's supposed to. That's what it tells me. So getting for that 6th round pick just feels, there ain't no biggie to me. The biggest thing is now that there's no excuse for the rookie quarterback to come in here. The team is put together like no other. No 7 wins, no 10 wins. It's playoff or bust. And since Caleb Williams is the next Patrick Mahomes, it's playoffs and then it's NFC Championship. I don't want to hear no fuss. This is a rookie. We got to get in town. I don't want to hear it. Because y'all say he better than C.J. Stroud, and C.J. Stroud came in here but not near as what he has, and he went to the 2nd round of the playoffs. That's what I got to say. And also, do y'all think that 9th pick, should we get the top defensive lineman in the draft or trade out of that pick? Chicago up, bear down, a.k.a. I believe in monsters.
One thing I got to say with this, let's stop with the Caleb Williams to Pat Mahomes comparison. Like, though I've told you before, what that really was is comparing the skill set. It's not comparing and saying that he's going to come in and do nobody expected Pat Mahomes to do that. So we got to come down on that. We got to be realistic. So the overall comps for Caleb Williams, listen, let Caleb be Caleb. That's what I say to it. And it seems like the Bears are focused on building the best environment for him to be the best version of him. And that's what we need. We don't need Caleb Williams to come in and try to be Patrick Mahomes. We don't need him to come in and try to do what C.J. Stroud did last year. Come in and be the best version of you. Be the best quarterback, lead this offense, and do that. And it's going to take some progression. He's going to make some mistakes early on. He's going to do those things. And listen, or if he doesn't, if he hits the ground running and looks like a star from day one, then we just benefit from that, right? But at the end of the day, you have to allow him to be him, and it's up to this coaching staff and the GM to put the best situation around him. And I feel like he's stepping into one of the best situations for number 1 overall pick quarterback of all time. And let's just see how that's going to develop for the Bears and for Caleb Williams for that matter. Now, as far as the second part, when it comes down to number 9, here's what I'll say. I know a lot of people are trained to think trade down, trade down, trade down. We need more picks. But here's what I'll say with that. That just went over the starting lineups, right? We really, realistically, 4 players. If you get the right 4 talent pieces, they can solve a lot of holes of what the Bears have, right? So I think it comes down to the talent that's at number 9. Because, yeah, you can trade down and get more picks, but what if you get more picks and they're worse talent, right? You go with the best talent there. You don't go in saying, oh, I'm going to need 4 more picks to get 4 more players, because what if 2 out of those 4 more players don't end up working out and you missed on a surefire thing at number 9? That's what the Bears have to weigh. And I know as fans, we're trained to think, get more picks, get more bites at the apple, and that's still some validity to that. But I think it comes down to what talent falls to the Bears at number 9, because if that talent is heads and shoulders above even what you can get with a couple of more draft picks, I think you just ride out with the 4 that you have, at least in my opinion. Let's see what we're going to come down to. There are 3. What is it, 3 we have now? So let's see what that's going to be for the Chicago Bears. We got some tough decisions to make, man. And I know that we like to make it seem like it's easier than what it is. But, yeah, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see where it goes for the Chicago Bears, man. It's going to be a fun thing to watch. It's going to definitely be fun to watch what the Bears do. And we're going to have a fun team, I think, as well next year. And let's see what we do, man. I'm really looking forward to it. And I hope that the Chicago Bears, man, that they just get it right. And then we're finally talking about that team that we've always wanted. Let's hope that that's the case. Make sure you guys are following the channel at Shy Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the channel, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number 1 spot for everything Chicago Bears related, thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.